Welcome to Second Best to Seeing the coaching sessions. If you're new here, a very, very warm welcome. I'm David, and this space is where we have honest conversations about what it means to stop playing a supporting role in our own lives. As a mindset coach, my work is all about helping gay men move from that second best feeling to a place of freedom and confidence. Now, if that sounds like a conversation you want to be part of, I'd love for you to hit subscribe and hit the like button because it's the simplest way to join us on this journey and make sure that you don't miss what's next. Now, growing up as a gay kid, I didn't have a map. I didn't have role models. I didn't have anyone showing me the way forward. And I certainly couldn't see myself reflected anywhere, certainly not in the world around me anyway. And when you start life questioning everything about yourself, am I different? Am I normal? Do I even belong here? You learn to adapt. For so many of us, that adaptation looks like learning to position ourselves as second best. It becomes an unconscious strategy for navigating the world. In relationships, you become the one who is grateful to be chosen, so you don't ask for too much. In friendships, you become the great supporter, the reliable one, but you never ask for that same level of support in return. At work, you become the one who does the brilliant work, but doesn't quite speak up for what you truly want or deserve. So I want you to hear me when I say this. This wasn't your fault. It was a survival strategy that you learned when you were young to protect yourself in a world that didn't always feel safe. And it might have kept you safe then, but it might be the very thing that's holding you and keeping you stuck right now. So I want to ask you something, and I invite you to really sit with this question for a while. Where in your life right now are you still positioning yourself as second best? Take a moment, take a breath, let that question land, because it's a pattern that shows up in every part of your life. In your relationship, it's the habit of being the accommodating one. At work, it's that story that you tell yourself about it not being the right time to speak up. With friends, it's that role that you play as the reliable crisis solver, the one who stays silent when you're the one who needs the support. And all of this is rooted in the same conversation that you have with yourself. The belief that wanting more is selfish, that taking up space is arrogant, and that your dreams are somehow less valid than everybody else's. So just notice it. Where does second best show up for you? The thought that started to change everything for me wasn't a lightning bolt, wasn't loud or dramatic. It was just, what if I'm exactly where I need to be and who I need to be? What if this experience of feeling on the outside, of having to question and be curious about everything, what if that didn't make me weaker? What if that actually gave me something that I need? Because here's what I've discovered in my own life and in the lives of the men that I coach in the freedom community. When you've spent years learning to read the room to feel safe, you develop this sensitivity, this superpower, an awareness, a depth. And that depth becomes that superpower. So here's the coaching question that I want you to consider. What would change for you if you stopped seeing your sensitivity as a weakness and started seeing it as your wisdom? What would shift if you stopped apologizing for taking up space and started claiming the space that's already yours? This is how you start shifting the pattern. Notice the language that you use about yourself, even in your own mind. Do you catch yourself saying things like, oh, it's just me, or sorry to bother you, but those are second best phrases. These are the language of somebody that's asking for permission. So for the next week, I want you to notice when you use them. No judgment, not a reason to give yourself any grief. You're just gathering essential information. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. I want you to think about that younger version of yourself, the one who is trying to figure it all out, figure out where they belong, the one who learned to play it safe, perhaps. Picture him for a moment. What would you want to tell that person now? What would you want to tell them with the wisdom that you have? What would you want him to know about his worth, his right to be seen and heard exactly as he is? And here's the real question. What if you started treating your current self, if you will, the same way, with the same compassion? Because often that second best pattern is us just trying to protect that younger part of ourselves by staying small and avoiding risk. And when you shift the surface level stuff aside, the opinions, the judgments, the fears, they all disappear and you connect with your heart. And this knowing that I call the 1% spark. It's that tiny part of you that knows that you're meant for more, even if 99% of you doesn't believe it yet. Even if it feels just like 1% right now, that spark knows something. It knows something that your doubts don't. You have the power. The work is about listening to that 1%, paying attention to the 1% spark until that light grows so bright that the opinions of others have no bearing on how you see yourself. Here's your invitation. This week, practice just one small act of choosing yourself first. Maybe it's speaking up in that meeting when you usually wouldn't. Perhaps it's saying no to something that drains your energy. Start small, start with 1%, but start. Now, before we end, let's just take one deep breath in together, in through the nose and a slow breath out through the mouth. Now, if you're ready to take the next step, I've got a special invitation just for you. I'd love for you to come and join me in the Freedom Community. It's my private coaching community for gay men who are ready to move from that second best feeling to being truly seen in their own lives. Inside, I'll give you the clarity, the tools, the coaching, and the daily support that you need to make that happen. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to do it all alone because I'm here to guide you every step of the way. And the link is waiting for you in the description, so I shall see you there. Until next time, trust your voice and be well.